In the world of football, especially if you are a top athlete in the top leagues, you get exposed to the fame, the money, more money, and women as well. In this ecosystem, we've seen successful men build their empires with the right woman. On the other hand, we have also seen a downfall of their empires due to being connected to certain women because of what they did behind the scenes. And so in this video, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be looking at footballers who lost their careers because of women. The first that we have on this list is Benjamin Mendy, a World Cup winner, a £52 million signing for Manchester City, a player once hailed as one of the most promising left-backs in world football. Yet in just a few short years, Mendy's name will become synonymous not with the trophies, but with a courtroom drama that gripped the entire world. In August of 2021, Mendy's glittering career came to a sudden halt. Police charged him with 4 counts of the R-word and 1 SA related to alleged incidents between October of 2020 and August of 2021. Manchester City replied by immediately suspending him. Soon after, Mendy was remanded in custody, accused of breaching bail by hosting parties during lockdown. When COVID was a thing. He then will spend several months behind bars awaiting trial. His trial then began in August of 2022 at Chester Crown Court. The charges were very serious. Initially, there were 8 counts of the R-word, 1 attempted R-word, and 1 essay involving 6 women. As the case unfolded, 1 R-word charge was dropped by the judge. In January of 2023, the jury delivered its first verdict. Mendy was found not guilty on 6 counts of R-word and 1 account of SA. However, the jury couldn't agree on the 2 remaining charges. 6 months later, in June, Mendy returned to court for a retrial. On July 14th of the same year, the final verdict came in. He was acquitted of the last 2 allegations. The legal process that had cost him years of his life and career was finally over. But the story didn't end there. His contract with Manchester City had already expired in June 2023, and the club had stopped paying him his $500,000 a month salary back in 2021. Mendy took legal action, arguing that the club had withheld millions without lawful reason. And in late 2024, an employment tribunal ruled in his favor, and Mendy was awarded a large sum in unpaid wages, reported to be around £11 million. Even though he won the case, Bro had lost everything in terms of respect, reputation, especially in the football world. Even so, he later went on to sign for FC Lorient in France to revive his career and is currently playing for FC Zurich in Switzerland. The second on our list is Dani Alves. He is one of football's greatest right-backs, a man who won it all from the Champions League with Barcelona to league titles in Spain, Italy and France. Yet by the end of 2022, Alves' life and legacy will be overshadowed by a criminal case that shocked the sports world. On December 31st of 2022, a night out in Barcelona turned into a legal nightmare. A 23-year-old woman accused Dani Alves of SA her in the VIP bathroom of Saturn nightclub. Within weeks, Spanish police gathered evidence including DNA samples, and on January 20th of 2023, Alves was arrested and placed in pre-trial detention. His club at the time, Pumas Unam in Mexico, immediately terminated his contract. Alves denied the wrongdoing from the start, insisting the encounter was consensual, but under Spain's strict only yes means yes consent law, the case moved swiftly to trial. In February of 2024, after months in custody, Alves faced court. Prosecutors argued for up to 9 years in prison, pointing to the alleged victim's testimony and forensic evidence. His defense highlighted inconsistencies and argued that the encounter was consensual. And February 22nd of 2024, and the verdict came in. Dani Alves was convicted of SA and sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. He was ordered to pay €150,000 in compensation and barred from contacting the woman. And it seemed like the end of the road for the Brazilian star. But the story did not end there. In March of 2024, Alves secured his release on £1 million bail, surrendering his passport and awaiting the outcome of his appeal. A year later, in a stunning twist, the Catalonia High Court of Justice overturned the conviction. On March 28, 2025, judges ruled the case had quote-unquote significant inconsistencies and contradictions, making the evidence insufficient to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Alves was acquitted, travel restrictions were lifted, and for now, he walks free. Moving on to the next one, there's this player called Adam Johnson, once a rising star in English football, a player who wore the shirts of Middlesbrough, Manchester City and Sunderland, and even played for the England national team. But in 2016, his career ended in a scandal, and he will become known not for his goals, but for a criminal conviction that shocked the sport. In early 2015, Johnson began exchanging messages with a teenage fan who was under the age of consent. They arranged to meet in person more than one occasion. During these meetings, Johnson's actions crossed legal boundaries and police opened an investigation. At first, Sunderland suspended him, but controversially, the club later allowed him to return the pitch while the investigation continued. Meanwhile, the case drew huge media attention, with growing criticism about how it was being handled. February 2016, Johnson stood trial at Bradford Crown Court. He admitted to 2 offences, one related to inappropriate communication and another involving physical contact. However, he denied other charges. In March of that year, the jury found him guilty on one additional count. The court sentenced him to 6 years in prison, saying he had abused his status as a professional footballer and role model. Then what followed was obvious. Sunderland, the club that he was playing for at the time, terminated his contract. Sponsors and partners obviously cut ties, and bro disappeared from the game entirely. After serving about half of his sentence, Johnson was released on license in 2019, and since then he has kept a low profile, never returning to professional football. And now we have someone like Thomas Partey. His case is similar to that of Benjamin Mendy. I did not feel the need for it to be talked about because it would be very repetitive, but you can go and read on it on the internet. And there you have it, guys. Please do tell me what you think of the video. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what kind of stories you want me to do for you guys.